We are recording. Welcome back to another episode of The Hell With This. Chad is Missing edition. What are you laughing at?
That's what the podcast is called?
You don't know that?
I didn't know that.
We've been talking about it. Shit.
Okay.
TheHellWithThis.com. That's our website.
All right.
Yeah.
Proceed.
With me today is my girlfriend Ashley, who I've mentioned a few times on the podcast before. And I thought I would introduce her to the internet because we're missing Chad. She's filling in for Chad this time.
Mm-hmm.
So
silver medal right here.
Tell us a little something about yourself.
I am an animation director. I am a mother of many pets.
Mother.
Yeah. And I am an appreciator for what I don't want to say bizarre cinema because I'm not talking like Crispin Glover shit, but like quirky cinema.
Okay.
Would you,
Well, name some of your favorite movies. I know Labyrinth is one.
Labyrinth. I don't know that I would classify that as quirky exactly, but
no, but
Beavis and Butthead Do America is a great film.
Okay.
It's a great film. And what we're going to watch today, I think, fits very well into that category. Earth Girls Are Easy.
Yeah, I have seen this movie before.
Yes.
But it's been long enough. I'm willing to do it again, even though I don't exactly have fond memories of it. It's definitely of its time and place. What was it, like 1986 or something? 1988, I think.
Was it even that late? I thought it was a little earlier.
I thought it was 88. Yeah.
Well, I'm not saying it's great, but I am saying it's very fun.
Yeah.
And I feel like it would be interesting to re-examine considering the very contemporary popular resurgence of like Jeff Goldblum. That's kind of interesting now that Genna Davis is very much in this feminist, like really putting women in film. Like it's kind of a contrast to her character in this movie. Mm-hmm. And I just think it's interesting to...
She's the lead character, but she is just sort of like looking for a man. Yeah. That sort of thing. Yeah. Well, we can get into that more after, I guess, because I don't remember everything.
But I feel like these are two people who are still around, who may be very different now, but it's a fun watch. And
an early movie for Jim Carrey and Damon Wayans.
Also that, yes.
Who went on to In Living Color together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of like more movies that you really... Because you don't like to talk about movies. I don't even know why you agreed to do this.
It's a long weekend. I got nothing to do.
Great.
I think, a very eclectic collection of films. I like Hedwig and the Angry Inch.
Big Lebowski, of course.
Big Lebowski. Those are two very, very different films. I like Dark Crystal from Jim Henson for very, very different reasons than I like either of those. Mm-hmm. Maybe the common thread, well, Big Lebowski might be the exception to this, but I think the common thread is not mainstream, not a favorite of most normal people.
Right. Well, I would have to look into it now, but I don't even think The Big Lebowski was a real big success. It was their first movie after Fargo, so I think a lot of people were expecting something way different.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't...
For a long time, it was considered like a cult...
Yeah, I don't know that movie. I don't know that it was super successful at the time of its release.
But
or
now,
anything.
Of course, everybody knows.
Yeah,
what it is.
basic bitches love Big Lebowski now.
Am I a basic bitch? Because I didn't like it back then. I thought it was a stoner comedy. I didn't know anything about it.
No, you're not.
Okay, good. That's a relief, actually. But it seems sort of like you like one of each type of movie. Like you might have a favorite animated movie. I guess that's Beavis and Butthead. You like Jim Henson movies. But The Fountain.
The Fountain.
You really like The Fountain?
I've seen
it a few times.
I think that's a great movie.
That's that's a weird movie. That gives me a bad feeling sometimes.
It's weird.
Just watch it.
And definitely not funny or anything.
No.
But I find that one, it's very visually striking and very engaging.
Right.
I think.
But you don't go, oh yeah, any action movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger, I'll love that. You might like one action movie ever. And then that's the one you like and you don't care about the rest. You're not like a fan of the genre or anything.
No.
One movie has to have particular things going on in it.
Yeah.
For you to be attracted to it.
I will say that I am more likely to enjoy a film starring Arnold than I am to enjoy something that people commonly tout as classics.
Casablanca? Have you seen it?
I have seen it.
Okay, man. I mean, maybe I had to watch it so many times in film school. Like, I watched Rear Window, the Hitchcock movie, a bunch of times in film school. Just everybody uses these things as their example in class. Maybe it just, got pounded through my skull enough that I really, really like those things.
Yes, I mean, some of these things are great. Like, Hitchcock stuff is an exception for me. You know, we had to watch some of those for class at art school. And
even
those
for animation reference? Or?
Well, it was kind of a liberal arts, like history of film or something, the type of class where you would write papers. And so it was applicable to all, like, film students, animation students, whatever. So those were like, oh, I'm glad I was exposed to those. Those were good. But I'm talking about stuff like The Godfather or things like that. To me, I'm just like, yeah, I'll put that on if I need a nap. I'm not really... I have trouble getting interested, and they never live up to the hype. So I much prefer a weirdo movie. Yeah. Good or bad. A weirdo movie that will keep me awake.
Okay,
as opposed to some of these like classics that are big old snooze fests.
So would you say that you're not like a fan of a really intricate plot or like a good story? You just want some weird shit to happen on screen that's like nothing else you've seen before?
I can appreciate an intricate plot and a great story, but it doesn't have to be there to entertain me.
Okay. This is a good change of pace for the podcast, I think. Has any other people, any third parties we've had on before are like really into movies?
Yeah.
We've had an editor on who's like worked with David Fincher and Bill Paxton and stuff. We've had Steve and Josh on, and those guys can talk all night about anything, but movies especially. Yeah. So this is good. This will be interesting to be like, what about this movie do you like so much? So let's pop it in and give it a look.
Yeah, hopefully I can justify my position.
Yeah, Jesus, I hope so. You know the consequences if you can't?
What are the
There aren't any.
No.
Oh my God. It'll be okay. All right, gang, we'll see you on the other side.
I'm going to show you something that's going to totally change your life completely forever.
She's a brunette from Southern California. And he's not.
I need romance. I need surprises. A UFO landed in my pool. They captured me. I fed them Pop-Tarts, but you've got to cut their hair.
What did you say?
They may be from outer space.
So, they could still be dates.
I think we could just make them look more sort of human.
Hey, come on, everybody. We're doing a makeover.
But underneath, they're more than human.
Wow, you're incredible.
I could fix you up with some bodacious chicks just like that.
I can't believe you're printing an alien in front of all these people. I'm going home with him.
Are we limp and hard to manage?
Wait a minute, are you coming on to me?
Her boyfriend's a doctor.
I've never, ever been unfaithful to you.
Whose treatment is totally alienating.
Here comes Dr. Love.
And her new love's an alien who's more than accommodating.
Do you own your own home or do you rent?
Gina Davis, Julie Brown, and Jeff Goldblum in a film directed by Julian Temple and produced by Tony Garnett.
I just don't want you to think Earth girls are easy.
Earth girls are easy.
That was some movie. I mean, I've seen it before a couple times. I think I enjoyed at least the first half a lot more this time than ever before.
Yeah.
I kind of was getting into the whole quirkiness of it. Like, I guess we just need to explain. It's one of these movies where aliens come down to Earth and they're the fish out of water. They don't know what's going on. They have to learn English, and they do in like 12 hours, more or less.
Well, kind of.
Yes,
They emulate a lot, but it's still pretty, like, out of context and inappropriate.
And, they learn a little bit about humanity, and the humans learn something from the aliens. Like, well, what does she learn from the aliens? How to have an orgasm?
Yeah, I don't know if she learns anything. I guess she finds happiness. I don't know if she finds happiness.
Well, yeah, okay.
What I have always liked about this movie, and what I continue to like about this movie, is that it's having fun, and having fun with itself in a way that I just don't see movies doing anymore.
That's true. It doesn't take itself all that seriously, as evidenced by the multiple musical numbers sprinkled throughout the movie. Mm-hmm. The director did do a lot of music videos in the 80s. I don't know which ones exactly, but I think we're seeing a lot of that influence here. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Immediate thoughts are like Jim Carrey's very funny throughout it. Damon Wayans has a few things when he almost gets in a fight with that guy on the dance floor.
Yeah.
He goes from like 0 to 60 in a second.
Yeah. What I guess I like... yes, Jim Carrey's funny. This is early Jim Carrey.
His character has nothing to do. He's just there to be funny.
Yeah, he's just there to be in the background making a mess.
Making faces and stuff.
But I kind of liked that they chose not to let him overshadow Damon Wayans or anything else that was going on that was supposed to be comedic. Like, he's got a distinct flavor to him and what he's doing. And he and Damon Wayans are kind of the Beavis and Butthead.
Yeah, they're getting in arguments with each other. No, it's his fault. It's his fault.
Yeah, arguing, getting into trouble, making messes. The other guy has to chase them around all the time. But I like that they didn't focus and, like, let Jim Carrey steal the show. It's, like, not...
Yeah, well, he was nobody back then, so they had no intention of
doing
that.
I feel like he was at that point.
Maybe he was
already,
in Once Bitten.
Yeah, I feel like he was at that point recognized for his comedy and.
Yeah, he was like a stand-up
crazy,
guy.
like body movement.
But
stuff.
not famous like in Living Color made him famous.
No. Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun visually. I like. It makes me wish that I was me now, like I was in my 20s or 30s in the 80s. It makes me wish that I was there, because all the pink and mint and, yellow and all of this stuff that's just kind of, it's horrible, but it's unapologetically so and is thus kind of great.
Like, I know you don't do the crazy 2-inch long fake nails with a bunch of weird shit stuck on them, but she works at a nail salon, so there's like one of these early songs that have a ton of close-ups of like, I don't know, like what were some of those nails that they had?
Well, I mean, just these huge acrylics with rhinestones, and one had like rubber frogs, little plastic toys. I mean, they're extreme.
I thought they had like micro machines stuck on one.
Like they were just those shots of the nails themselves were like little pieces of art and fucking ridiculous.
Yeah,
because
like you don't have those yourself, but I know you like that kind of stuff just to see it.
It's
to
fun
know it's
to
in
see.
the world.
It's fun to see. It's fun to know it's in the world. You could never actually like have those for more than a day because you wouldn't be able to dial a phone or eat a sandwich or anything.
Or type, yeah.
But I guess I like the decadence of the movie. I like the decadence of the era that the movie is set in. Mm-hmm. It's kind of a self-aware, ridiculous visual feast.
Okay. And I did note while we were watching, like it came out in 88, which means it was probably filmed in 87, but to me it feels like it has the colors and the style of early 90s. Like it makes me think of the intro to Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think like that sequence when they're in the dance club or whatever, that does feel a little more early 90s.
Yeah.
the fashions that
Parachute
were there.
pants.
Yeah. Like big baggy tank tops and stuff like that. So, and maybe that's good because then maybe it didn't fall into this category of like 80s movies that sort of had this resurgence and then now it's kind of tired.
Well, it's sort of
80s movies.
This one kind of bridges the gap from 80s to 90s because it was right in that time period. So the three aliens played by Jeff Goldblum, Jim Carrey, and Damon Wayans. Jeff Goldblum, I guess he has done a lot of comedies, especially back in the 80s. He was in Vibes, and Gina Davis and Jeff Goldblum were both in Transylvania 65,000.
Would you call that a comedy?
I mean, it's supposed to be. Even if it's not funny, it's still of the comedy genre.
Okay.
And they were also in The Fly in 86, and then this fucking movie comes out after The Fly. This uber serious, violent, gory, fucking sci-fi movie.
Now that you say that, do you think that, so when they reveal Jeff Goldblum coming out of the, I don't know if it's supposed to be a tanning bed type of thing?
Like a standing
do
tanning bed.
Do you think they deliberately spoofed The Fly in that shot then? Because I
think a little bit. Yeah, he's got this backlight coming from the tanning thing, and it looks like he's stepping out of the glowing transporter pod in The Fly. I think it's deliberate,
Yeah, I mean, that's the kind of self-aware shit that...
Because they only shoot him from the chest up. He looks like he's basically naked. Then when they cut wide, he's got pants on.
Yeah.
Just like in The Fly.
Yeah.
I think that was totally deliberate.
And what I like about the aliens, the look of the aliens in this movie, while I don't know that we're ever really given the full picture of where they come from or what they're doing in this space. Like, it seems like it's their job or something, but...
Yeah, because Jim Carrey and Damon Wayans are awake and driving the ship, and basically, I guess, there's no private rooms on this ship, apparently, but they're watching a bunch of, like, dancing girl videos and this close to jerking off with each other. Just saying stuff like, I need a woman so bad, and, like, it just seems very... strange. But Jeff Goldblum is asleep in a tube.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they have to transport him somewhere, but it turns out he's like the captain of the ship.
Well, I always took that as just like the boss is taking a nap, so they started to,
he seemed like cargo to me.
Eat snacks and watch porn while the boss is in bed. I thought that's what they were doing. They were just kind of fucking off.
Yeah, we have nothing to base any idea
But
off
what
of.
I like about them is that whoever was kind of doing the overall design for this movie, costume design, all this stuff, they didn't go little green men.
Oh no, definitely not. They are little though. The ship, they have to shrink to fit inside. But they're not green.
They're not
yellow,
green,
blue, and
they're
red.
not scaly. They're not. I mean, they were very different. I can't think of any other alien iterations that look like them. They're very fun, and I guess it seems so simple to go, red, yellow, blue. That seems so simple, and I feel like an executive now would be like, this looks like the Teletubbies or something. We can't do this.
Exactly. It would be too, like, it's too bright. What the fuck are we doing?
Too obvious, too whatever. But I think it really worked, because it was easy to tell them apart. It was visually interesting. They were inviting. It was funny.
You could tell that they were funny characters.
Yeah.
Right off the bat.
Yeah, it worked tonally, I think, much better than having it be something that looks like it stepped off of X-Files.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they weren't too monstrous.
That too, yeah.
Yeah. Let me see here. My notes. Oh, the theme song. Mm-hmm. It starts with the theme song called Earth Girls Are Easy.
I'm not ashamed to say I've had it stuck in my head more than once while driving.
And on the last episode, when Josh Trotter was here, he was saying in Back to School, like, they have a song called Back to School at the beginning of the movie. Every movie had a fucking theme song back then.
Mm-hmm. It's a fun soundtrack, and I think, again...
Do you have it?
I don't.
Birthday
but
list.
I would.
Birthday's coming up, I gotta get something.
But, like, B-52s and the title track and all that... It comes from an era where movies were having more fun. Mm-hmm. Movie soundtracks now are just like a collection of whatever the fuck they could license from Rihanna and Justin Bieber and garbage like that.
Yeah,
it has
they have like
to
a
do
few
with the
big
movie.
ones and then a few like indie artists. that have a title that relate to the movie really on the nose. Like, fuck, there was some superhero movie that had a song going like, "Can you teach me how to fly?" Fuck you, dude. That's a dumb song for a superhero soundtrack.
Oh, I feel like I know the one. Was that the... I mean, this is a while ago, but was that the Nickelback song?
I hope not.
Okay, I can't think of the film, but yeah, I remember there being a very sort of like call to arms hero song from a softish metal band.
Softish.
Yeah.
Oh, I noticed or noted after Gina Davis has broken up with her asshole doctor fiance, she's like watching soap operas on TV, and sort of a similar thing happens where the characters are cheating on each other or whatever, and she's crying and calls somebody a weasel dick. Mm-hmm. I love that as an insult.
Mm-hmm. It's a good one.
You weasel dick!
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, there's some good memorable phrases. Some good little blurbs in this movie. I think my favorite line is, "If meaningless sex is what you want, why can't you have it with me?"
That's a good one, too. Should we talk about Julie Brown?
Sure.
I guess I don't know her whole deal. I don't know what she went on to do after this. Her presence in the movie seems to be her trying to support her music career, because she has like 3 songs that she performs in the movie, and I heard 1 or 2 others just playing in the background, like part of the soundtrack.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of... She's throwing her boobs out front all the time. Was she basically trying to do Elvira without the horror element?
Oh, I don't know. That's not what I got from it. I mean...
Because she was playing like the Valley Girl, just like Elvira, except she, you know...
Yeah, but like everybody in this movie
I
who
know.
had
It's set in the
boobs
Valley.
was also doing that.
It's set in Studio City.
Yeah. I guess I like her. I like her in this movie. I feel like if I had an alter ego, real me is very organized and doesn't have fun. Mm-hmm. But my alter ego would be Julie Brown in this movie, because she's just like, fuck it, let's go have margaritas
With these aliens.
And has weird
with these
little
waxed aliens.
weird little clove cigarettes on a tiny little cigarette holder that's pointless. And I mean, again, I feel like it's just
That might just be part of the cigarette.
just a like silly, self-aware, stupid character that is just there to, I guess, sometimes play devil's advocate, sometimes move the story along.
Yeah, I think the whole plot is like Gina Davis trying to keep the aliens under wraps before her ex, or I don't know, they're still sort of together, I guess, through the whole movie, before the boyfriend comes back and finds out there's a UFO in his pool, and he gets very upset about that. And then all these other side characters, like Michael McKean plays the pool guy with a great Californian accent, who always talks about surfing and stuff. He kind of takes him off to the beach. Julie Brown takes him off to the nightclub. There's all these other people who are always kind of getting in Gina Davis's way and fucking around with her plans of just trying to get back to normal.
Well, and providing these aliens with new experiences. Kind of getting them sidetracked and...
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I like her in this movie. Yeah,
She's
maybe,
funny, yeah.
Maybe...
The Blonde song is very funny.
The Blonde song is great. The song
Bland, Blonde.
The song playing in the background of the club.
I don't remember that
I like
one.
them big and stupid.
Oh, yeah, that one.
That's great. And like, hey, even if it was like, oh, let's let her do all the music. Great, fine. Because it was stupid on purpose, these songs.
It wasn't... It's not a bad movie, like they didn't know what they were doing. There's another thing, like, the production value is actually pretty high.
Yeah.
For this kind of movie and for the reputation it has. And maybe they restored it a little bit to put it on DVD, but it looked like really clean and sharp, and everything looked like pretty high budget, considering.
Yeah.
I guess I look at some of those sets like the nail salon set. It feels really cheap all the same. Mm-hmm. Like, it's got a lot of production value, but bad production design.
But I almost read that as intentional. Like, they almost wanted it to feel as though it were a stage from a musical. Because we're only ever there, really, kind of in and out. We're there for a song, and we're there for the reveal of the aliens had, their makeovers done. Mm-hmm. We're not there for much. It doesn't have to be a very functional set that makes sense. Oh, here's the door you come in, and
right.
And this is how it works.
They just set up like a stage or stuff in the middle so they can move around it.
Yeah, it's kind of
really
like
wide. It's the biggest nail salon in the world.
Yeah, it's just like a proscenium stage, like how you would shoot a sitcom. Everything's just nice and clear and wide so we can get these shots. So, I mean, I guess that didn't bother me. That it looked very artificial.
Yeah. I wonder maybe they spent all their money early on in production. Then they had to end up doing a lot of like shit with models when like the car is flying off the bridge. Very clearly a miniature car.
Oh, I mean, yeah, but I mean, what do you want for...
I don't know. A real car.
I guess if I could make that shot happen with a model and have it be decent, I would rather do that than
like it'll get you close enough.
Yeah, send a real goddamn car over a bridge. I'd rather do that for so many reasons.
But if they had the money, they should have. They could have. Let me see here. Okay, let's talk about Geena Davis's character, Val. Uh-huh. Val, who lives in the valley. Mm-hmm. Which is, God, it's so built into her character. She's a valley girl.
Yep.
She's not blonde.
No.
Oh, except for one scene where she's trying to coerce her fiance into sleeping with her finally after 2 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, it was such a wig though.
Yeah,
and
definitely
that was just a plot point. She's blonde in her soul.
That's a good way to put it. And she is basically horrible at everything except nails.
Well,
we don't even see her do any nails.
No, we don't. So we don't know that she's not horrible at that, too.
But that's her job, and assuming she's been doing that for a while, she's good enough
I guess so. Yeah. She's disorganized, and I don't want to say childlike, because it's not that exactly, but, well, certainly like a college kid living on their own in an adult body, like the... Oh, here, guys, here's Pop-Tarts to eat.
That's the entree.
Like, that's a real food. There's so much
she says they're sugar-free Pop-Tarts. It's natural.
Yeah. So, all of that kind of just very sort of improvised and immature living.
Yeah. We see a lot of flashbacks of her relationship with the doctor, and she's always kind of like fucking shit up for him. At the football game in college, she's cheering so hard she gets on the field and intercepts his catch.
Well, I wouldn't say fucking shit up for him because that sounds intentional and malicious.
No, just accidentally.
I think those flashbacks were just showing like she's a klutz is all. Like she's always sort of blundering and then feeling like she has to apologize.
Yeah,
I think was the greater point. Feeling like she had to apologize to this guy who, like, may or may not actually be worth apologizing to.
Even beyond that, it was always something she was doing out of, like, love for him.
Yeah.
Trying to get next to him. Oops, knocking over the barbecue and him into the pool.
Yeah.
Cheering for him at the football game, blocking the catch, etc.
Yeah.
Things like that. So...
I don't know.
It's a character thing.
It's a character thing. I mean, I guess I feel like the movie could have gone on just fine without them. I don't know that I needed their history.
It was part of the worst musical number. In the movie.
I wonder if they were just like, I don't know what else to have angry Geena Davis break, so maybe we better make some flashbacks to cut away to get away from this like kind of bad lip sync thing. Yeah, Not bad because she did a poor job of the physical lip sync, but just like that was the one that didn't feel self-aware.
Yeah, it was really trying to be like, here's her modus operandi. Here's her reason for doing what she's doing. It was so serious
and dramatic, and they did give you some comedy relief with like the way she was destroying the stuff in the house, like the bowling ball into the computer or whatever.
Down like a ramp of skis.
Yeah, but it wasn't enough to save it, and it wasn't enough to tonally put it in the same neighborhood with the other songs in the movie.
I just wish It was so clearly not her singing the song, like even in a studio somewhere. Definitely somebody else singing. If they had just run with that and kind of like abandoned the lip sync altogether, so it came out looking like a dub of a Japanese movie or something like that. I don't know. There's ways to have fun with the not really her singing aspect of it.
Maybe.
Like you see somebody outside of the window wearing headphones and actually singing the song. I don't know.
Maybe. Though I feel like that, what you just mentioned, is more of like a modern technique in self-awareness. I don't know that you see that in a lot of movies back then, where you're breaking the fourth wall, essentially.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for.
I don't know.
Because it was that bad.
Yeah, because I don't know if that's the fitting tone with everything else either. But yeah, but all the other songs are pretty fun, I think.
Yeah, I think the worst thing about the musicals is that they really have no place in the movie. They just happen. They happen and then they're over and you're moving on. Mm-hmm. They don't give you a long time to go like, oh, Jesus, what is happening?
Is that a bad thing, though, that they don't have to do with the overall plot? I was kind of okay with it.
I don't know. Like, you look at a Disney movie, Beauty and the Beast. Mm-hmm. That's a musical. It's got songs. They kind of get in and out of them a little more naturally. Because we understand that people are not actually breaking into song in a good musical, except for a few where they really are. In this one, it just becomes a totally different thing for no fucking reason.
Yeah, but I don't know. I was okay with it because I feel like this is a movie set in an era that was very celebratory of like MTV, like all that stuff. And as we discovered, the director did a lot of music videos. And
maybe it's how he got the job. They knew they wanted to have these things in there, and they were like, hey, let's get this guy. He'll know what he's doing.
This movie is not, I don't believe anyway, I don't believe anybody considers it a musical. And so maybe the graceful transitions in and out were like, fuck that. Why would we do that? We just want to insert some fun little music videos
I really wonder
into the movie, and I'm okay with it.
I wonder if the producers kind of looked at it like, no, these portions of the movie can work as music videos. We won't have to re-edit anything. It's ready to go.
Maybe.
And of course, they didn't play this shit on MTV.
Yeah, I don't know.
Not to my knowledge, anyway. Was Julie Brown, did she ever work at MTV alongside Downtown Julie Brown? That would be funny.
I don't know. I guess I was too young to know.
Yeah, I don't think that ever happened.
But
that bad musical sequence, Gina Davis herself looks like she really doesn't want to be doing that scene.
You think so?
I got the real impression like she knew it was bad, felt embarrassed doing it, and didn't want to. But, contracts, she has to.
I don't know.
The shoot can't continue until she just gets it done.
I don't know. I never got that vibe. I want to reiterate, I do really like this movie, but while we're talking about things that sucked, that weird sex scene with she and Jeff Goldblum, it's like he does the ecstasy touch thingy, and then we have that sort of bird's eye trucking in, spiraling in shot where it's kind of a slow-mo thing, like you're seeing the transition, like cross-fading frames of what they're doing. Yeah. But then we go into this thing...
Like a black void with red lights.
Yeah, like, is
and
this...
dust everywhere.
Is this spiritually what's happening?
Or is it literally...
Like, it wasn't different enough from what we just saw in Real World for me to feel like... this is in their heads. This is like tantric sex. This is, But
or are they actually inhabiting another dimension in that moment? They're aliens, who knows?
And it didn't go on very long, which is both good and bad because, like, it's painful and awkward, and I don't enjoy it, so I didn't want it to go on very long, but it was so brief, I kind of went, well, what's the point?
Yeah.
So I feel like we could have gotten what we needed to get out of the real world stuff, or that black void. Something about that needed to be more fantastical. It just kind of looked like the cover of a romance novel and it got way cheesy and maybe ruined a beautiful moment here.
Yeah. And I guess we should clarify that Genna Davis and Jeff Goldblum were in a relationship together at this point. Mm-hmm. They were married, I think, from 87 to 1990. Mm-hmm. And this was in 88. So they sort of knew each other from before, started dating, etc., etc. But, yeah.
So the alien sex wasn't as weird as it could have been
yeah.
with somebody you weren't involved with.
Maybe there's even some footage on the cutting room floor where they were just fucking savage with each other on film because they were really married. We'll never know.
I doubt it, but I guess we will never know. Yes.
Let's going back to Genna Davis and her current role in the Genna Davis Institute for Gender Equality. Is that what it's called?
It's like Gender in Media.
Gender in Media.
Yes.
So she basically she's trying to do what she can to help women in media portrayals and media in like work.
Well, I mean, when you say it like that, it sounds like, what can she personally do? Yes, I think she's very active in it, but it's also, I went to a program hosted by her institute a couple months ago. It was very interesting. She spearheaded this program and the development of this software that actually analyzes films and is able to read both faces and voices and track how often are we seeing males on screen versus females on screen. How often are males speaking versus how often are females speaking. And it was very interesting because I have all these stats written down somewhere in the other room, but it was like, even in feature films where the star, the lead role, is a female lead, male like co-stars still had more speaking.
I think that's definitely true in this movie because there's 3 of them.
Well, I guess something that was pointed out at this program, it was talking about how, sure, you put a female lead in your movie. Great, good for you. You can say like, oh, we had a female lead. We're being very progressive.
Like politically, it looks good.
The optics look good. But if your female lead is speaking less than the male co-stars because the plot of the movie is such where this female lead is sort of a victim of circumstances or being pulled back and forth by different things, and she's not making assertive decisions of her own accord. Like, it's people kind of telling her what to do and where to go, and like Hunger Games is an example that comes to mind for me. Sure, you have a female lead, but the first movie, at least, it's very like, you got thrown into this shitstorm, and it's a whole bunch of other people telling her what she needs to do or not do. And so, yeah, I guess it makes sense in the end that she doesn't actually talk as much as some other people, even though she's the star. So the Genna Davis Institute developed this software and put out these stats and is just making it very visible. Sure, you've got women in your movies, but what's the content of these movies? Mm-hmm. Are you portraying the women positively? How about women of color? How about this? How about that? Like, I guess really calling people to the mat and saying like, okay, you say you have women in your films, but like, are you serving them? Are you serving that audience? Are you are you creating real opportunities, or are you just giving them the same old like waitress, housewife, blah blah blah?
It's either that, like, even if they're a lead character, they probably wouldn't be like the waitress or housewife, though those movies do exist. But if they're the lead character, often they're still a victim of something, and it either becomes just like a violent revenge thing, like that Jennifer Lopez movie Enough, or The Boy Next Door, or whatever. Or else they're like a villain, and does that count as like a positive thing for women in media?
True.
if they're a fucking drug lord or something?
Right.
I don't even know what the Charlize Theron character in the Fast and Furious movie is.
Does power equate to positivity, or is that still...
Do you still have to... Right, like how many female superhero movies are there?
Yeah.
We got the Jessica Jones TV show. They're making Captain Marvel. That's a female superhero. But like the movies, Wonder Woman. What am I saying? That's coming out any day now. But there's not a lot of equal representation out there. And I don't know if that's because they're not making it or because people are not interested.
Yeah, I mean, I want very much to say, people are totally interested, and it's just not being provided, but...
We'll see what the box office is on Wonder Woman.
Yeah, look who we got for president, so I guess I don't know what people want. Anyway, I found it to be a very interesting perspective on the whole thing, and her institute presented very simple ideas as what people like me, as a director, what you can do to create more visibility for women. And something that I thought was a great idea and so simple to do is in animation, there's a term called an incidental. An incidental is any character you see in the background. Not your main characters, but if your main characters are eating at a restaurant, all the people littering the background, sitting at the other tables who we never hear talk, those are incidentals.
They're like extras in animation.
Extras, yes. So, simple. Make half your incidentals in every scene women.
And people get used to seeing them on screen. So that becomes normal.
And it's not weird. And it is a little tough to do because a lot of model packs for animation, there are just more male characters to choose from than female characters, and you have to start using the same females over and over again. But then I think you have to go the extra step and ask the designers, hey, we need more women designed so we have more variety and all that stuff. Anyway, I thought that was very cool. I think she is very cool. I like her in Earth Girls Are Easy. Like, Val is dumb. She's supposed to be dumb.
She's good-hearted. She just doesn't know what the fuck is going on in life.
No, and she just wants a man. And I don't normally like that type of character, but I like her in this.
She wants someone to love her back.
Yeah.
She's full of all this positive feeling, this love, and she's been stuck with the same guy who doesn't actually give a shit about her.
Doesn't reciprocate, yeah. So I guess I wonder if Geena Davis looks back at this role and is like, yeah, it's fun. Like, it's fun to play somebody who's stupid, just like it's fun to play a villain, or, it's fun to play somebody who isn't you.
Yeah.
Or if she looks back and goes, oh my god, like, this is everything I am trying to fight against right now. I'm just curious. I like her in the movie, but I would be curious what her take is, looking back at it.
I remember working on a short film project with somebody where it was sort of like a husband and wife thing, and the husband did something really stupid, and the wife rolls her eyes, and ha ha ha, that's the joke. And I kind of just, it wasn't my thing, I was just there to help out, but I kind of went, well, what if the roles were reversed? What if she was the one who did something stupid, and the husband has to roll her eyes? Mm-hmm. And everybody said I was sexist. I'm like, but it's just comedy. And we never see, like, the ditzy kind of characters these days. I don't see it much anymore. Mm-hmm. I don't have a problem, really. I'm not gonna like make an issue out of it with anybody. Mm-hmm. But like Geena Davis legitimately plays an airhead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like
I guess it's okay with me because so many movies are about the stupid guy who finally like gets his way in the end. Finally, he wins out. Stops being such a dummy.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out whether it's like she does find love in the end, and
an alien with a big penis.
I mean, that's what we're led to believe. We never get to see it. Does he love her despite the fact that she's a total dingbat, or because he's an alien he doesn't really know, or it doesn't matter, or whatever? I don't know where her intelligence falls in the grand scheme of, our end result. I guess it's just, she's just supposed to be kind of an endearing mess.
Right. Yeah, and she's fun. She's, like, caught up in this whole adventure, so we're on her side. She never does anything so, like so stupid, so awful that we go, oh my god, how would anybody live with this person?
Right. I mean,
she's just sort of like you said, a
different.
klutz.
It's different than I was gonna say. I feel like the last of the entertainment bimbos went out with like Peg and Kelly Bundy. You know, they did the dumb blonde thing with Kelly Bundy, but she was definitely a little more selfish. I guess I would say. Not malicious, but selfish at the very least.
Like every character on that show was definitely not great.
Yeah, not
not a good person.
Not well intentioned. And this was definitely a different type of airhead.
Yeah, for sure. I was really glad to see that this movie was shot in Studio City. We used to live only like a couple miles from most of these locations, and they even had a shot when Jim Carrey drives a car off the freeway. Somehow he ends up in Randy's Donut sign, which is kind of, I guess it's sort of a well-known landmark. I've never been there, but they used the same exact shot in Iron Man 3 where he's just like chilling out in a donut, eating a donut, and the end of the movie does the same thing with a giant donut-shaped asteroid.
Did we not go there? I thought we went there once.
I've never been there.
I thought we went there because the shooting range you took me to that one time is right by Randy's.
Really?
Maybe I just wanted to go there.
I think maybe you wanted to, and then you're like, my hand hurts from shooting that 357.
Yeah.
Let's go home and ice this thing.
Maybe that was it. I thought that was a weird thing. Well, maybe it makes sense if they went to the beach. I was going to say, Randy's Donuts is so far from the valley.
Right,
that
they went
seems
to
like
Laguna
a bit
Beach.
of a leap, but they went to Zuma Beach.
Oh, Zuma. I thought I misheard.
Zuma, which also, honestly, rather out of the way. If you're talking about going to Randy's, they really made quite an L shape. But I suppose it tracks. They just did a shit ton of driving that day.
Right, yeah. Maybe traffic was really bad going one direction, so they tried going the other way. Who knows?
Yeah, I guess so.
I'm kind of curious. I wonder if the Geena Davis Institute or Geena Davis herself are on social media and easy to get in touch with. Not that I need some sort of a long, drawn-out response to the question, what do you see when you look back on this movie? I'm just curious as to what she would say. I really want to find out now. I wonder if she's done an interview already where she kind of acknowledges that some of her earlier sex pot roles are not in line with her current thinking.
Maybe.
I mean, she spends half this movie in a bikini.
Yeah.
Or at least a third. Like when the ship lands in her pool.
Yeah.
She's in a bikini for like 20 minutes around that stuff.
Yeah. And she's in lingerie and she's in a towel and she's not terribly clothed in a lot of this. I don't know. I guess I'd also be interested in Jeff Goldblum's take, though. I feel like
he's probably like, it was a paycheck.
Yeah.
I got to work with Geena, whatever.
Yeah. Well, I guess I also suspect he would well, I was going to say, I suspect the memories of, oh yeah, that was a fun production, but he was wearing a fur suit in the valley for a lot of it, so maybe it wasn't fun.
Where it's always a little hot. Those look like some pretty hot, sunny days.
Yeah.
I doubt they shot this in January.
Yeah, so I could be wrong. I don't know.
Well.
But, I mean, he's around. He has, what does he do? Like, he has a jazz band or something.
Something like that.
Yeah.
I think he's... Fuck, I don't know if he has a website. I wonder. I'll see if I can find anything.
I've got a couple friends who
from
have been to his jazz performances. I feel like we could probably just go to one and walk up to him and be like, hey, how was this?
I'm not really a jazz fan, but can you talk about Earth Girls Are Easy for 60 seconds? And then I'm out of your life forever.
Yeah, why did your helmet have a little horn on the front and no one else had one?
Well, it was a phallic symbol to show he was the one in charge. I didn't even notice that.
I kind of suspected that was it, but...
It makes sense to me.
Yeah.
These decisions are made somehow, and they go, yeah, a phallic symbol, sure. Let's do it.
Why can't it just be a little horn? Why has it got to be a dick for you?
Sometimes a cigar is just a cigar.
Yeah.
But it's up to us to decide when that is. Okay. Yeah. Do you have anything else you would like to add? Any more notes you want to cover? The practical effects?
Yeah, I mean, so the opening titles, opening titles have a lot of practical effects. It has animation. That's another thing that I just found fun about this movie. It's only in the titles. It doesn't really... well, I mean, I guess the ship, when it
Anytime
lands...
the ship is flying, it's a model.
Sure.
Like a motion control thing.
But it's just... It's stylized. It holds up in that, yes, it might look dated, but it does not look horrible.
It doesn't, like you said, it doesn't look like bad early 90s CG.
No, it doesn't.
It looks like a real object that was just composited out of a blue screen.
There's CG now that looks like bullshit. I'm not even talking about early 90s. Like, did you ever watch Twilight at all?
No.
Like, I watched it just to be like, okay, I want to be able to say that I've seen this so that I can say with an informed opinion that it's terrible.
Your poor opinion of it.
The werewolves in the Twilight movies are such bullshit. They're awful.
I think
they are awful.
I saw the last Twilight movie with the big fight at the end.
Yeah.
And it was all a dream. Spoiler alert for a totally different movie. It was all a dream. And even some of that shit was like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah,
like, it looks like a PlayStation 2 game.
You guys can afford to do better. You know better and you can afford to do better, but this is the choice you're making. And so I'm very glad that these practical effects, these models, this animation, the, matte paintings, all that stuff in Earth Girls Are Easy looks better than a lot of the stuff people are using today.
Yeah, that's a good thing about physical, practical things that they actually filmed instead of just made up in a computer, is that it has some kind of texture. Even a fucking painting of space feels somehow realer, more real. But that attitude that you were describing that you don't like about the Twilight people, you could afford this, but you didn't. Just why? Why not? You did the same thing just a while ago with the model car. If they could have afforded a full-size car to do the stunt, then they should have. Instead of just getting kind of like halfway. We don't know what their budget was.
Right. But if they couldn't...
if they couldn't, then you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, it worked for me just fine.
Then you do it in an animated sequence, I guess.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, I guess I'm a person... When there's like a car chase or something going on, that's when I go to the kitchen for snacks. I don't give a shit about that stuff. So,
you mean you weren't actually concerned about whiplock safety when the model car flew off the freeway? Yeah, me neither.
It's not even Jim Carrey in the car. If there's a real person at all in that car, it's not him.
Right.
So, it's fine.
Okay.
Everybody's fine.
Everything's fine.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like I'm pretty much through all my notes, except for anybody who didn't catch it, either the one time they say it in the movie or in the credits, the old lady neighbor's name is Mrs. Merkin.
A merkin is a pubic wig, correct?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. I don't know why you would want a pubic wig. I mean, shit. I guess everything has its time and place.
I'm sure if we looked into it, there's some kind of historical, practical purpose for that kind of thing. But all that aside, I thought it was funny that this lady's name was Mrs. Merkin.
It's never mentioned, of course.
She says it once. Gina Davis yells out the movie once when the neighbor lady's like listening to them argue.
Oh.
Go to bed, Mrs. Merkin! But it's kind of hard to make out that she says Merkin. It sounds like she just says Merc or something.
Yeah, it's sort of distant and
echoey. And but in the credits I read that, and I feel like that's just more evidence that these guys were having a lot of fun. Said, no one cares what this woman is named, so let's name her Merkin. After the pubic wig.
Right. Because why not?
Yeah.
All right, I think that's a good place to wrap it up then.
Pubic wigs, everybody.
Thanks for listening, everybody. All 5 of you. Man, I hope we have more than that by now. We're on iTunes, man. I appreciate your support. Thanks for listening to this episode of The Hell With This, and we'll catch you next time.